Welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. You're watching the campus television channel of Don Bosco College, Kottayam. This lecture is on the prescribed syllabus of 5th semester BA English Literature and Language. The paper is Literary Criticism. In this lecture, I'm going to discuss about the timeline, or you can say the history of literary criticism. First, let's talk about classical and medieval criticism. Literary criticism is thought to have existed as long as literature. In the 4th century BC, Aristotle wrote the Poetics, a typology and description of literary forms with many specific criticisms of contemporary works of art. Poetics developed for the first time the concepts of mimesis and catharsis, which are still crucial in literary studies. Plato's attack on poetry as imitative, secondary, and false were formative as well. The Sanskrit Natya Shastra includes literary criticism on ancient Indian literature and Sanskrit drama. Later, classical and medieval criticism often focused on religious texts. Literary criticism was also employed in other forms of medieval Arabic literature and Arabic poetry from the 9th century. Next is Renaissance criticism. The literary criticism of the Renaissance developed classical ideas of unity of form and content into literary neoclassicism, proclaiming literature as central to culture, entrusting the poet and the author with the preservation of a long literary tradition. The birth of Renaissance criticism was in 1498. With the recovery of classical texts, most notably Giorgio Vella's Latin translation of Aristotle's Poetics. The work of Aristotle, especially Poetics, was the most important influence upon literary criticism until the late 18th century. Lodovico Castelvetro was one of the most influential Renaissance critics who wrote commentaries on Aristotle's Poetics in 1570. Next is Enlightenment criticism. In the Enlightenment period, that is from 1700s to 1800s, literary criticism became more popular. During this time period, literacy rates started to rise in the public. No longer was reading exclusive for the wealthy or scholarly. With the rise of the literate public and swiftness of printing, criticism arose too. Reading was no longer viewed solely as educational or as a sacred source of religion. It was a form of entertainment. Literary criticism was influenced by the values and stylistic writing, including clear, bold, precise writing and the more controversial criteria of the author's religious beliefs. These critical reviews were published in many magazines, newspapers, and journals. Many works of Jonathan Swift were criticized, including his book Gulliver's Travels, which one critic described as the detestable story of the Yahoos. Next is 19th century Romantic criticism. The British Romantic movement of the early 19th century introduced new aesthetic ideas to literary studies, including the idea that the object of literature need not always be beautiful, noble, or perfect, but that literature itself could elevate a common subject to the level of the sublime. German Romanticism, which followed closely after the late development of German Classicism, emphasized an aesthetic of fragmentation that can appear startlingly modern to the reader of English literature, and valued wits, that is, wit or humor, of a certain sort, more highly than the serious Anglophone Romanticism. The late 19th century brought renown to authors known more for their literary criticism than for their own literary work, such as Matthew Arnold. Next is the new criticism. However important all of these aesthetic movements were as antecedents, current ideas about literary criticism derive almost entirely from the new direction taken in the early 20th century. Early in the century, the school of criticism known as Russian formalism, and slightly later the new criticism in Britain and in the United States, came to dominate the study and discussion of literature in the English-speaking world. Both schools emphasized the close reading of texts, elevating it far above generalizing discussion and speculation about either authorial intention or reader response. This emphasis on form and precise attention to the words themselves has persisted after the decline of these critical doctrines themselves. Next, let's talk about the authors that we are going to study in the coming lectures. Here, along with the name of the authors, the important works written by the authors are also given. Under the classical and medieval periods, we will be studying about Plato, Aristotle, Horace, Longinus, and Bharata Muni. Plato's important works: Ion, Republic, Cratylus. Aristotle, Poetics, Rhetoric. Horace, Art of Poetry. Longinus, On the Sublime. Bharata Muni, Natya Shastra. Then under the Renaissance period, we'll be studying about Philip Sidney and his important work, An Apology for Poetry. Next is the Enlightenment period, John Dryden, An Essay of Dramatic Poesy. Samuel Johnson, On Fiction. Rasselas, Preface to Shakespeare. Next is the 19th century, William Wordsworth, Preface to the second edition of Lyrical Ballads. Samuel Taylor Coleridge, Shakespeare's judgment equal to his genius. On the Principles of Genial Criticism. The Statesman's Manual, Biographia Literaria. Matthew Arnold, Preface to the 1863 edition of Poems. The Function of Criticism at the Present Time. The Study of Poetry. And next is the 20th century, T.S. Eliot, Tradition and the Individual Talent. Hamlet and His Problems. Then comes I.A. Richards, Practical Criticism. In this lecture, I discussed about the timeline or history of literary criticism. Do the given exercise and submit on time. Thank you.